And delighted that you've chosen to get up with us, and we are ready to go as Week 4 kicks off tonight with Neek and Acho, and Schefty, of course, is ready as we have a huge game on the schedule tonight. Let's go. It's been a slow start to the season for Aaron Rodgers. He has a 48 total QBR, on pace for his lowest in a season as a starter. Last year actually is currently the lowest he's had as a starter. We'll see if he can turn it around. But the good news is the Packers defense holding up its end of the bargain, allowing under 12 points per game. Only the Patriots have allowed fewer. And the Eagles on the other side off to a tough start, below 500 entering Week 4 for the first time under Doug Peterson. The last time they were 1-2, Chip Kelly was their coach. The expectations are high and the schedule is brutal. Take a look at where they're headed after this. They get the Jets, yes, and that should be an easy win. But then look at that. Minnesota, the Cowboys, Bills are good, Bears, Patriots. This does not get easier for Philadelphia. So as I open the show by saying, Dominique Foxworth, I do not think it is an overstatement to say this is a must-win for the Eagles. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with you. In that conference, the whole NFC is really tough. It seems like they're positioned to get a wild card bid right now. I know it's early in the season, but everyone has a lot of confidence in the Cowboys, and the Cowboys already have an early lead. But I think they're in a tough spot. If they don't win that division, it's going to be a dogfight to see who gets one of those two wild card spots.
What do they got, Joe?
It's a must-win psychologically. I think schedule-wise, the Eagles can still make up a lot of ground in the back half of their schedule with a lot of those division games. But right now, everybody's kind of looking at the Eagles like, y'all aren't very good, and your receivers can't catch. So psychologically, it's definitely a must-win for that.
Yeah, we've made the point that they're 2 drops away from being 3-0, but every team in the league is 2 plays away from an entirely different fate. That's sort of the way football works. Shefty, what are you hearing around the sport about the Eagles?
Well, I never like the expression must win, especially in late September. Must wins are true elimination games. It's not a true elimination game. Saying that, it is getting late early for this team. And if you look at that schedule and the difficulty of it coming up, and you look at the Philadelphia Eagles with where they are right now, it's going to be very difficult to catch the Dallas Cowboys for the division title if they don't win the game tonight. I think, again, to that point, if they can't win tonight, they're in contention for a wild card spot, and they're going to have to go about this in a much more difficult way. Must win? No, but if they don't win tonight, that division is going to be awfully tough to win for them.
The kicker is, Schefter, when you talk about it as a quote-unquote must-win, if they are in contention for a wild card spot, well, who are they in contention with? They're in contention with the likes of the Packers. They're in contention with the likes of the Falcons or the Lions or teams they have lost
to. And the Bears.
And the Bears,
a lot of good teams.
So,
but to his point, the teams they've lost to.
The teams they've lost to, you're in contention with. So although, yes, it is for sure late September, but when you start to get into late December and you start to look at the schedule and it's like, man, it's us to the Packers. And you remember you lost to them on Thursday night and they're the reason you're eliminated. That's why Eagles fans be wearisome about this game. It matters a lot.
We will talk much more about the Eagles side of this as we go. If I could get a quick thought in on the Packers, and I keep crediting Dominique for saying this. You picked them all summer long because of all the acquisitions they made on the defensive end. I never thought I'd hear myself say the words. Are they going to have to carry Aaron Rodgers the rest of the way, or is that thing going to turn around on the offensive side?
Yeah, if you think saying that tonight's a must-win is an overreaction, saying that anyone's going to have to carry Aaron Rodgers is definitely an overreaction. They've carried him so far, but I like to think that he's proven himself through the course of his career that he's going to get comfortable in this offense, and if he doesn't, that's fine. Then get out the way, give him the ball, tell him to draw it up in the dirt, because he is that good. He'll find a way to make the plays they need to at the times when they need him.
You know, we talked all summer long about the relationship between Rodgers and LaFleur and how is it going to go? And the numbers, candidly, Shefty, right now are not good. If they weren't 3-0, I think the conversation we'd be having right now about Aaron Rodgers would be very different.
Well, but what's happened here is the identity of this team has sort of shifted in front of our eyes. It's become a defensive-minded football team, which is very odd to consider when you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. But on offense, they play at a very slow pace. They're running the football, and the defense, not the offense, has carried this team to its 3-0 start so far.
That's a very interesting point. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl at the very end of his career when he wasn't the star anymore. John Elway won Super Bowls at the end of his career when he was being helped a lot. But I don't think we perceive Aaron Rodgers to be at that stage.
No, Aaron Rodgers is going to get it together. You have to assume that. The defense has been balling as of late, but it's Rodgers. You put some respect on that man's name. Like, it's Rodgers. He gonna ball.
And he also said it's time for the offense to have a game. So be on the lookout tonight for Aaron Rodgers.
As a general rule, Thursday nights at home, huge huge advantage.
Don't start
Packers.
this again, Greg.
The only one I had wrong was the one that cost Schefter his elimination pool. All right, let's go to the other. Really, the biggest story in the NFL right now is this Jalen Ramsey saga, which takes another turn yesterday. The Jaguars announced that Ramsey has left the team because of the impending birth of his second child. Before that news broke, the coach, Doug Marrone, was asked about Ramsey already missing practice with illness and injury.
He was sick. Yeah.
But he's good now? Feeling better?
From the sickness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when did the injury pop up?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, he just gets tight, you know. I mean, his back got tight. It's normal. His back has gotten tight before. My back's tight. A couple of guys' backs are tight. You know, a couple of guys have hamstrings. I mean, everyone gets the stuff.
All right, you notice him laughing. Let me quickly, for whatever this is worth, they later tried to clarify that Doug Marrone was not laughing at the notion that Jalen Ramsey was actually sick or hurt. He was laughing at the reporter who asked the question because that reporter was wearing a suit and doesn't usually. That's the explanation. You look as skeptical as I feel right now about that notion.
Yeah, that's nonsense. So he was laughing. I have to take him at his word. But it appeared to me that he was laughing because he doesn't buy Jalen Ramsey is having injuries or having illnesses that's keeping away. He thinks that this is tied up in the contract situation.
Well, let's just recount the last 48 or so hours, right? Jalen Ramsey called the team to let them know that he had what he thought was the flu. Then he came in yesterday, and he showed up on the injury report with a back injury. And then last night, on the same day he had a back injury, the team released a statement that he's leaving the team to go be with his pregnant girlfriend. Now, if we started with the pregnant girlfriend, it would have been maybe a little bit different. Because, listen, that's commendable that you're going to spend time with your pregnant girlfriend who's about to give birth and you want to be with family and you're prioritizing family. All for that, great. But it doesn't change the situation as it currently is. Let's take aside the baby. Let's take aside the back. Let's take aside the flu.
Yeah, I mean,
he wants out.
Yeah.
He wants out. It's a stare down, okay? And they're challenging each other to see who's going to win this because the team doesn't want to trade him and he wants to be traded. And so right now, basically, they've shelved the discussions while he takes care of family issues.
Jalen hasn't missed any games. It is awfully coincidental that all of a sudden he starts missing games around the same time, or he's setting himself up to potentially miss some games around the same time that he's having this.
He's not going to play Sunday.
Yeah.
Not at all.
He's not going to play Sunday.
He's not playing Sunday. Is he ever playing for Jacksonville again, Schefter? Is the way this thing is headed, it feels as though the Jaguars want an enormous price for him, and any team that trades for him knows they're going to have to sign him to a big contract. So that's a lot to give up no matter how good a player he is. So where does this stare down ultimately go?
It's a great question because I think the team right now is acquiescing to him by saying, we're giving him permission to go be with his pregnant girlfriend. They are working with him. But does that change? I don't know when his girlfriend is giving birth. Does that change when she gives birth? Does it change when he starts missing games? Do the good feelings and cheer continue to go? I don't think so. So at some point in time, the team's going to get real tired. And I think he's determined not to play there again.
Agreed. Like you said, it's a stare down. And it's a stare down that I love to watch because it's Ramsey versus Coughlin, and both guys seem that they are hard on their stance. I don't think he plays again. And again, we have to take him at face value, like Neek said. But I just think it's in theory a loophole. Because right now, the management and teams, they find all types of loopholes to punish players, to fine players, to not extend contracts. So if he were to just say, I don't want to show up, Schefter, if he were to just sit there and say, you know what,
which he doesn't.
But if he were to say that, he would get fined.
Correct. And he would miss a game check for not playing in the game. Whereas this way, he has a legitimate reason, whether it's injury, illness, or an excused family absence.
But I don't think they give paternity leave in the NFL, right? He's not going on paternity leave once she gives birth.
Multiple Patriots players have missed games because of the birth of their child. And they didn't dock them their game check, is what I'm saying. What I believe you're saying is he's finding ways to not play and still get paid.
If this were the case, if for any reason his hamstring weren't actually too hurt for him to play, that is what he's finding. But remember, let's go back to 2018 in September. Earl Thomas, he just said, the Seahawks aren't invested in me, so I'm not going to invest in them. And remember, Earl Thomas and Jalen Ramsey share the same agent. I think Ramsey's learning from Earl's situation. Earl came back, and Earl got hurt, and then had to sit out the rest of the year. And remember, he gave the bird to the Seahawks and let Pete Carroll know exactly how he felt about the situation. Ramsey gonna learn from it. Simple as that, as he should.
Is there, to sort of wrap it up for here, and we'll talk more about this as we go, but I think it's the biggest thing going on in the sport right now. Schefter, is there any reason to believe a trade is imminent?
No, not right now, not this week. But again, maybe some team swoops in, recognizes what's unfolding there, and says, hey, we'll give you 2-1s, and they take it. But the owners don't want to trade him right now.
Look, the Chiefs, the Ravens, there are a bunch of teams out there that are probably Jalen Ramsey away from winning the Super Bowl. So it'll be very interesting to see where it goes. The other big news story, after 64 days, Schefter, Chargers running back Melvin Gordon appears ready to end his holdout. You've got the story. Let's hear it.
Well, he's going to report today. He's going to meet with the team, and the plan is for him not to play on Sunday against the Miami Dolphins, get him ready for the next 10 days, and he would make his debut in Week 5, which would be against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this would be a better backfield for him. A lot of people say, what did Melvin Gordon gain? Because he racked up $1.2 million in fines, didn't collect a paycheck for the first 3 weeks. If you're looking for a victory for Melvin Gordon, it's this. He doesn't have the wear and tear of training camp, doesn't have the wear and tear of the first 3 games, first 4 games, will become a free agent after the season, is planning to move on from that team, and will try to cash in when he leaves. It was not the type of victory that I think Melvin Gordon had envisioned, but it's not like he didn't come out of this with anything at all.
I don't know. I think he took an L. I think he took a huge L. And the reason is the Chargers are still averaging 5.5 yards a game rushing, 6 yards a game in another game rushing. And here's how you know they don't care that much. And Nick, co-sign me on this one if you agree. He's showing up on Thursday. If the team really liked him like that, he's playing on Sunday, point blank, period. You're not showing up on Thursday and they're like, you know what, we'll use you in 10 days. That's not how it works with your true alpha male.
It's not even that they feel like they don't like him. It's that they feel like they don't need him. And at a team that is 1-2 right now, you would think they need him. And I think it's a little unfair to only point out the rushing stats when you talk about Melvin Gordon. He has other impacts in the passing game that his presence could have. But I think all in all, I agree with you, Adam. It's nice to not have that wear and tear, but I think we all would agree that he's come out of this worse off than when he went in.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm trying to find some silver linings. I'm trying to be a glass half full kind of guy for you here. Okay, that's all. That's all.
I'll say this, because I was thinking about this situation, and obviously pales in comparison. By no means was I Melvin Gordon, but I remember when I was in Philly, I was like, man, coach, the Eagles, they don't love me. They don't love me. Well, after they released me, I was like, I want to go somewhere else. Coach was like, well, 31 other teams have a chance to claim you. I went unclaimed and brought my happy butt back to Philly on the practice squad. That's very much so what happened with Melvin Gordon.
Did they play you right away, though? Did they play you on Thursday? On Sunday when you showed up?
Heck no.
Because they didn't need you.
Exactly.
Oh, man, they did need you, Acho.
The point is just like, you get to learn a lot about just how good you are when the rest of the team and the rest of the league's like,